thealexshow.tv. Please read the important disclaimer on your screen. All of the content provided is for entertainment purposes only. It should not be taken as medical or legal advice. Please contact your doctor or lawyer if you require such advice. Thank you. The show starts right now. Oh, welcome to this new episode of thealexshow.tv. This is episode 301 from March the 8th of the year 2024. Today's a Friday, and today's episode is going to be drugs, alcohol, and demons. In a way, I already spoken about this in several episodes in short manner. There was an episode around 100 shows ago that I do mention this notion that, particularly in the case of alcohol, has the name spirits. I'm talking basically about the alcohol you see in the screen. What's referred to as strong alcohol, basically whiskey, rum, vodka, tequila, those type of spirits. Several, there are many. Mentioning the most important, the most known ones. That this drink has the name spirits exactly because they embody spirits that, as you drink them, it's quite difficult to explain, but as you drink them, they kind to attach to you, and that's why some people claim alcohol is basically bad, very bad for you, and same as drugs and similar stimulants or things that are not necessarily good. I want to clarify as disclosure, I don't do any drugs. I've never done drugs in my life. I'm talking about hard drugs, but I do drink alcohol, and since I was, I don't know, 18, something like that, 16, probably even younger than that. I'm what it's called as a casual drinker, social drinker. So I have a few drinks here and now and then. I don't usually get drunk anymore. It has been years since that has happened to me. I'm very careful about that, and I'm going to explain further down the show why I do believe that's very important to really don't take alcohol to a point that it takes you somewhere else, the loss of consciousness, and that I think is not good for you. That happened to me a little bit more when I was younger, yes. You're young, you're stupid, you're immature, you do things, and sometimes I don't even recall. Sometimes I probably didn't want to get drunk, and it was just going with the flow of a party or in a discotheque or, in some kind of club or something like that. I was probably not planned to do it, and it just happened. I also believe sometimes in the case of alcohol, especially, it has to do with how your day went. If you have been having a rough time, not sleeping well, for example, if it's a Friday and you work hard from Monday to Friday, you have work pressure, personal pressures, then you are more susceptible to get drunk that day, particularly you're tired, your body's tired, alcohol is gonna do a bigger effect on you than if you're relaxed and, and calm and that. This is not an endorsement to alcohol, I want to clarify, but I do need, because I'm going to speak about it, I'm going to speak same as all my shows, through my intuition, through my personal experience. So, what do I feel about alcohol and drugs? First of all, I never had the intention to do any hard drugs. I've been offered a few times during my life, several kinds, cocaine, marijuana a lot. I don't smoke at all. I probably smoked a few cigarettes when I was very young and stupid, around 15 years old. But I'm talking, I never liked it. I tried it a little bit. It was not for me. So I don't believe into putting anything in our lungs. That's why also this is not part of the show, but I just want to clarify it. I don't believe, for example, in vaping, or vaping is good for you or neutral for you. No, I don't agree. It's probably as bad as cigarettes. It's just going to come out eventually that, vaping is not an alternative to cigarettes, okay? It's like saying that alcohol is good. No way. I mean, but there are types of alcohol, and that's what I also want to talk about. So, what do I believe it happens when you have drugs and alcohol related to demons, which is the name of the show, drugs, alcohol, and demons? I do believe both drugs and alcohol lower your vibration, okay? That's a given. It doesn't matter if it's red wine, it doesn't matter if it's beer, which, by the way, they are the two type of alcohols I drink 99% of the time. If I have a whiskey, if I have rum, if I have vodka or tequila, it has to do with a particular engagement. I'm talking like a wedding or something like that they're not offering anything else. I actually got into a point lately that the few weddings I've been going to, probably one a year, twice a year, I ask if they have beer, I ask if they have red wine. Most of the times the answer is no. Red wine sometimes is offered during dinner exclusively. So then I go into the harder liquors such as whiskey and that. I don't particularly enjoy it. I don't even know what I do with it. And sometimes I end up asking for a club soda or sparkling water or a soda or something because I get to a point I don't particularly enjoy it. So I think that's a bad part of alcohol. So they lower your vibration, okay? they lower your vibration, and as they lower your vibration, this is my intuition, I don't particularly think that something is attached to the liquid itself or the drugs, for example, marijuana or cocaine or something in the cocaine, in the powder. No, I think it's a vibration thing. I think spirits, demons are all around us. I've shared that many times. We have dimensions, we have vibrations, all of us around us, and some of them are higher and some of them are lower. It's just that I mean, it's nothing wrong about that. It's just to be expected, okay? So I believe you are opening yourself when you are into drugs, especially if you, for example, lose consciousness and do it so much that you basically let yourself go. You are certainly opening yourself. That a demon sees the opportunity to attach to yourself, towards something that's called your aura. Okay, very difficult to explain what the aura is. I think it's a show in itself, so I'm not even gonna try it. But you certainly have heard of the term aura, and what I believe is these attachments we all have, uh, a lot of them from previous lives, by the way, come to these type of things. Uh, but do you have a beer? Is a huge demon going to attach to you? Is not what I'm saying. Okay, for me, it's how the particular drug or alcohol drink affects you. Okay, and of course, it has to do a lot with the quantity. It's kind of well known. I mean, I've heard a few of my friends have had problems with addiction as far as being I mean, they accepted that they were alcoholics. And the good thing is all of them that I know have recovered, and they are recovered addicts. Um, I probably know a couple of people with problems of drugs, and those, in a way, they're a little bit harder to leave behind. But for example, in the case of alcohol, you will speak to these people when they were drinking, and the amount of alcohol, even if it was beer, even if some resorted to whiskey or rum or something like that, the amount, the intention was get drunk. Okay. So that's the moment, I think, when you, for example, to drink something and you have a few drinks and you're tolerating it well. And we all, I mean, if you're a drinker, you're listening, we know how it works, okay? We know that after 4 or 5, I don't know, everyone has a different limit. Uh, if you're very skinny, if you're a woman, if you don't drink very often, usually your limit is very low. So I've seen people with 2 drinks, with 1 drink even, being in that limit of, kind of going downhill as far as what I'm trying to say with the vibration. And I think some of us have a limit around 4 or 5. In my case, as far as beers, is 5 to 6 beers. Okay, has to do a lot if I had something to eat. Again, if I'm tired, if I'm because then your vibration is in a different level. So what I think happens is if you are already in a low vibration, you are sad, you're upset, you're rageful, then you drink, and sometimes you drink so that emotion goes away. Actually, you're opening yourself for some of this stuff, some of these attachments to happen. Okay, and you will notice that the drink affects you differently than usual. So when we get to a point that we lower our vibration so much that it changes you, that's also a very telltale sign. I do know people, I'm not going to go into specifics because some people do listen, some friends and acquaintances do listen to my show. I do know people, and I've shared it a few times, that when they drink, not all the time, but when they drink and they get drunk, they change. And we have an expression here in Mexico, mala copa, bad cup or something like that. It's basically a bad glass or something like that. But it's basically saying when alcohol, you become rageful, you become upset, you become belligerent, you become just a mean person, okay? And you start being mean to others. Maybe you think you're funny, but you start being belligerent to others. You start you have an emotion maybe that it's, and you have a friend there, but you have a internal problem with that friend and you show it, and you try to be mean to them, or you try to show that you're upset or something like that. That's when I think you are becoming a little bit demonic. You are being influenced by these attachments. Now, we'll getting drunk in a club. Will I wake up and I will be under demonic possession? No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is during the stages that your vibration gets so low because of the effects of alcohol and drugs, I do believe you can be influenced by these demons. And that's why some people, when they are under the influence of drugs, when they are under the influence of alcohol, sometimes do very, very confused things, such as killing someone, such as running someone over, such as, unfortunately, such as abusing someone. I'm talking sexually. I think that's the point where the demon has taken over and you're temporarily under demonic possession. Yes, temporarily. I don't think it sticks when your vibration raises. The demon cannot handle that. And it remains attached, kind of saying, hey, I have a customer here, so I'm going to remain in the area, but it stops controlling you, okay? So you wake up and yes, you have the physical symptoms. I know about that. I don't know what happens with drugs, but it's probably similar, the hangover. That, your especially your head is sometimes it's just killing you. I remember telling a friend a lot of time ago, like 30, 40 years ago, I'm 50. No, 40, no, sorry about that. I made it wrong 30 years ago. Let's leave it at that. When I was 20, 21, that one time we got drunk and I say, my head, it's not that my head is killing me. I feel like someone is drilling my head. Has like literally a drill to my head and it's drilling, making a hole in my head. It was awful. I wanted it to stop. And of course, you also do stupid things like getting aspirin and that. You shouldn't do that. A good friend of mine who is a doctor one time saw me do that on a trip like 15, 20 years ago. And he told me, hey, don't do that because you are physically, your liver is already, is already kind of, affected by this hangover, this a lot of drinking, and you're putting a medicine that has to go to the liver that, yes, it's going to make you feel better, but it could get to a point that you get liver failure, like, like that. So if you do that, I used to do that a lot of taking an aspirin when I was hungover, when I was young. I stopped doing that. You just have to write it out. Just drink a lot of fluids and just maybe learn, maybe it's just a suggestion. You do as you please, of course. Maybe try to avoid getting drunk. And that's what I do. I haven't been drunk for at least 10 years. I think the last time was when it was my 40th birthday. We not a justification, but we started at 1 p.m. It was a Saturday and it was going to be a long day, and I had a lot of friends to the house for my 40th birthday. I know it's not necessarily something special, but it was a good special occasion to see a lot of people from high school, from like that I hadn't seen in a while. And yes, we ended up at 3:40 a.m. And yes, I eventually threw up and had a horrible hangover the next day. And I remember, I don't want to experience this again. It was not from the demonic side. Actually, in a way, I'm not saying I'm better or worse, but except for a couple of instances when I was very young, I'm talking in my 20s probably, I never had this situation that I get belligerent or aggressive while getting drunk. Actually, I happen to be the opposite in a way that I get very sleepy, very tired, and I just go to sleep and, don't want any trouble. But I have an excellent video. I want to clarify, as always, with all my support videos, I include the link to the full video in the show notes. And in this case, I'm probably going to reach out to this gentleman to see if we can do a collaboration when this video goes live. I'm pre-recording this before March 8th. But once the video goes live, I want to reach out to this person to see if we can have a collaboration. He's a bigger channel than us. I mean, we're around 2,000 and whatever subscribers. He's around 36,000. So let's see if he's interested. Let's see if I could realize that collaboration. But excellent stuff. My suggestion is go and look for the full video. I took 6 minutes, a clip of 6 minutes, and go and subscribe. I'm going to look at the other videos and see if it's something you might want to subscribe. My suggestion is do it. He does an excellent job. And I think in these 6 minutes, he kind of gives us the pearls on how this demonic attachment, let's not call it possession because it's too aggressive, demonic attachment, attaching of demons could happen while the influence of alcohol on drugs. Let's watch it together and I'll be back with my final thoughts.
So have a look. And now let's talk about today's topic. So what are the actual real consequences of alcohol consumption? What are the spiritual consequences and what's really happening? So today I'm going to share something very important with you, and this is not just theory. And a lot of this stuff is documented through different experiences, which I will talk about today as well. So it's not just talk, we're actually talking about real case studies here. So what happens is that when you consume alcohol, you're basically poisoning your body, your immunity goes down. And this actually is linked to lowering your energetic field, your aura, right? Lowering your defenses in a way. Some people claim that alcohol consumption actually creates holes in aura, in your energetic field. And this now allows for different entities to attach and start feeding of your energy or manipulating you, things like that. So generally, low vibrational entities feed off people who have low vibrations. So for example, if you have high vibrations, like your levels of prana are high, you are happy, you are energized, you have high vitality, you meditate, you do these kind of things, it's much harder for an entity to attach and use you or feed of you, because it repels them. It's like garlic for a vampire. The higher vibration, you attract the good guys. The lower vibration, you attract the guys on the bottom, let's say. So all these negative emotions kind of attract negative entities. But specifically with alcohol, when you consume alcohol, you're lowering your vibration, create these holes in aura, and now different types of entities can kind of clinch and attach to you. So in a way, it's like a temporary possession, let's say. So, think about it this way. As above, so below. Everything is dualistic, everything is fractal. If you have an imbalance in your body, what happens? Different bacteria starts feeding of you, you start having illness, you start having some kind of physical health problems, things like that, right? But the same happens on the higher levels, right? So these imbalances, like alcohol consumption, which is lowering your vibration, now attracts these parasitical entities. Same like we've been talking about bacteria that can feed off you. You can have these entities that can feed off you and use you. So why do they do it? I mean, first of all, because it's kind of like a fuel, right? Like energy. They often feed off emotional states, or they kind of, you bring some emotion, some desires, some things that they want to feed from, right? And they kind of try to use it. Okay, so what's the evidence? What's the evidence for anything like that? Because to many people it might sound like a bizarre claim, right? Science will tell you that, for example, alcohol addiction or any kind of addiction is to do with chemical imbalance. Or, science will tell you that, for example, if you have cravings or addiction problems and things like that, this has to do with chemical imbalance. Each time you use the substance, it releases dopamine and similar hormones, and you kind of crave this feeling, and you keep repeating this behavior, and it creates neural pathways that are now easier to get you to the same kind of result. This is true, but to an extent. This is what we can observe as a side effect, as a kind of one layer to the story. And the actual other mechanisms beyond that, below that level, work very differently. So let me give you some examples. So for example, I know someone who had massive drinking problem for many years, not only alcohol but also other drugs. And another person that I know who is very, very psychic, she can kind of see the entities, her senses are extended beyond the physical senses, beyond the senses of most of the people, so she can see entities. So one time what happened, we found this person on the floor, and this person actually overdosed, right? It was a drug overdose, but entities attached to alcohol, regular drugs as well. So what happened, she said, the psychic, right? She said she saw two shadows kind of jumping and feeding off this person, right? So we found the person who overdosed on the floor, and the psychic, who basically has senses developed beyond like the visible light that most people have, right? She can see a little bit more. She saw these two shadows jumping and feeding off this person, right? So this is...
Okay, as I said, I suggest to you that the link is going to be in the show notes. The video is much longer. It was a 6-minute clip. And go and look, my suggestion, you do, of course, would you please, go and look at the other videos of this creator and subscribe if you like him. He's very good. And as I said, once this video is out, I'm going to reach out with an email and let him know that I use his material. First of all, I hope he's fine about it. If not, I'm going to have to take down the video. And second, to see if he wants to do a collaboration on these or other subjects. We do speak kind of around the same things, and very good stuff for sure. So I want to clarify that, as I said, I might have a difference of opinion with this gentleman, that I don't know if he intended that the actual entities are attached to the physical thing. I think it's the effects of the alcohol, the effects of the drugs, and the entities are all around us, okay? So I want to make a kind of an analogy with scary movies or horror movies, okay? So I remember one time talking to someone and hey, what do you think about horror movies? Some say they're, you open portals and I said it depends all on you, by the way. Depends all on you. If you watch a horror movie and it doesn't move your vibration, your frequency, if you are happy, if you are vibrating in love, if you're not belligerent, if you're not upset, kind of the things that I say in the last 2 minutes of the show, by the way, when I say, hey, fear, rage, envy, violence, justice through violence, all these emotions, they're not for you. You're going to discover that if you haven't already, by the way. You're going to discover eventually those emotions, they just hinder you, they just lower you. So if you watch a scary movie, if you watch a horror movie, I suggest watch it, laugh all the way. What? This is funny, this is too stupid, or something like that. But you watch it, and at the end, you're afraid. And especially if you're watching it, and you're watching it alone, and you're going to sleep alone that night, stuff like that. Me and my wife have a story a long time ago, 2009 or 10, something like that. So we decided to watch Paranormal whatever effects or something like that. The first one, okay? That is this kind of uh, Blair Witch type movie that is recorded with a very low budget, and it's basically around the house and this haunting that is going on. But the scene at the end that the lady is holding the knife, which she used to kill her husband, 10 minutes they show it to you, and we had actually to fast forward because after 2-3 minutes is there something more. So that scene in particular, I felt a very low vibration, and it did affect us. It was late at night. It was probably 10, 12 a.m., 1 a.m. when we finished watching. Uh, and good thing we're sleeping in the same room and that, of course. But we, all night, it was, this is a real thing. I don't need to make this up to you, okay? You decide if you believe it or not. We're listening strange noises all night. What I believe happened is a vibration lowered through the fear of the movie, through that vibration and the fear. I think it was an implantation, by the way, of that last horrible scene. And what happened is you open to these demons, to these demonic entities, which are all around us, okay? Because, by the way, we have demonic entities all around us, and we have beautiful light entities all around us. So if there's high-end realities, makes all the sense in the world that we're not in the basement, okay? This 3D reality is not the end. We have lower realities and actually negative dimension or density realities. But they're out there. They don't affect you as far as you don't call them. So that's why I say don't play around with Ouija boards, okay? Especially if you don't know what you're doing. Don't. It's not a game. You are actually trying to go to the cellar, to the basement, and talk to these demonic entities, and they can take over in a way. I believe drugs and alcohol is basically the same thing as a scary movie, basically the same thing as using a Ouija board. Are you going to be affected? No, it depends all on you, on how it affects you, okay? So again, I'm not going to promote alcohol consumption. But if you have a cup of red wine, a glass of red wine a couple of times a week, and it doesn't affect you, and you don't feel demonic, and you don't feel you get upset, and it doesn't, you know inside you, it doesn't affect your vibration, I think you're fine. Okay, that's what I think, but you decide. So this is all about how it affects you. In the case of hard drugs, I don't know. I don't have the experience, but honestly, I find it very difficult that you can be functional if you are injecting heroin, if you are sniffing cocaine, or if you are having marijuana all the time. I do remember on a trip, I think I shared it already a few years ago, we went to Canada. I know that, right, there is official. I know a lot of people love weed, love marijuana. That's fine. That's your thing. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying my experience. So we go there, and every restaurant we went, we got wrong orders. We got, things took a lot of time. And I remember one time on a breakfast that they bring pancakes and we order eggs, and the eggs had bacon and we didn't order bacon. And the server, which I could tell he was high at 9 a.m., he was like, what's the problem? You don't like that? You're not going to eat it? Okay, you're going to make me take it back? Like, what's the problem? Whatever I bring you, you eat it. And I think that's the problem when we are high, that we usually are less respectful. We usually are judgmental. We usually go to these lower vibration emotions. Okay. So, in a nutshell, final thoughts here. Alcohol and drugs, I believe you have to take a very good look and be very, very aware of how they affect you. Okay. As I said, I'm a social drinker, so I'm not, I'm not going to say, hey, don't have any alcohol. And even if I didn't drink, it's not up to me to say what you should do with your life. The suggestion here is, I do believe what the gentleman said, that through the lowering of vibration, like many things, food could do that. A very bad food for you could lower your vibration. Getting upset with someone, a fight with someone. I share with you guys my only experience so far with a demon was when I had a very strong argument with my wife, and I was on a business trip, and I get to the hotel, and there's something there, okay? And I already shared the story. I mean, a couple of times that basically everyone was very cold, and at the end I had different voices, one voice in one ear, one voice in the other. But what happened? I think I got help. I honestly think I got help. That I just raised from the bed, and the vibration went from being in fear to being calm, from being upset to being in love, and everything went away. The demon went away because they cannot survive in a high vibration. The gentleman said as much. Okay, if you have a high vibration, maybe you can have a few drinks, and you're just gonna get the physical effects. That's inevitable. Okay, you have a limit. You have a physical limit when you are gonna get drunk, but maybe no entity is gonna come near you because you are still with the alcohol, still with the drug. You're in a very high place, and they just cannot reach you. Okay, you have to lower to their level, and that's unfortunately if your starting point is not so high, and then you have a lot of drugs, a lot of alcohol, and you play with Ouija boards and you invoke these demons, then unfortunately you are gonna have these attachments, this dealing with these entities. That's what I believe. So I hope you enjoyed this one. I think it was a little bit different in a way. We cover everyday topics such as drugs and alcohol with a kind of out there, it's out there. Some people think demons don't exist. Some people think spirits don't exist. Some people think this material reality. That's perfect. If that's what you believe, I don't have a problem with that, okay? You believe what you want to believe. I just share my feelings here, and I hope you enjoy this one. And if everything's okay, I shall see you back on Monday. Please enjoy your weekend. And if you're a new subscriber, if you're new to the show, please, one time only, please stay for the last 2 minutes of the show. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Thank you for making it to this part of the video. This is my favorite part. This is where I suggest to you that you discover yourself. You are not what you have been groomed to believe. You're this incredible being without limits that has eternal life, amazing strength, infinite wisdom, and a big, beautiful heart. All your limits are always self-imposed. Your best version in this reality is inside you. Your only mission on this life is to become a beacon of love and guidance. This version is ready to be discovered today. How do you discover yourself? The discovery process is a personal one. No one can do it for you. Dedicate 5 minutes a day to talk to yourself and the universe. Request to be connected and ask, who am I? Where do I come from? You will start getting signs, breadcrumbs, and signals. You will notice how your notions about those realities start disappearing. No more hierarchies, no more competition, no more complaining, no more depending on others. Discovering yourself equals to breaking your matrix. Your self-imposed limits will fall, and you will be ready to serve humanity and help break this spell and deception on us. But you must be patient to allow others to wake up at their time through their own free will. That will be really soon, you will see, and that will start the new world. As you work towards your best version, you will notice how all emotions don't serve you anymore. Hate, fear, rage, pride, loss, envy, violence, justice, true violence, judgment of others, and other emotions will disappear from your mind and heart. You will understand those emotions serve only the evildoers and are not you. Please try to be understanding of others that don't think or feel like you. Everyone has a process. No one is right or wrong. We're all just different. Don't be concerned about being right, ever. Don't allow pride preventing you from patching things up with family and friends. It is very important you enjoy this life with your loved ones. Put in the work to patch things up and leave it to others to decide. Please relax and enjoy life. When everyone breaks their own matrix, humanity through our community consciousness will break the final spell. The new world will start and everything will gradually fall. Governments, hierarchies, and the medical and financial system will go from scarcity to abundance. Thank you very much for watching. Please share this episode. If you have any comments or suggestions, please use the comment section below. For private questions, conversations, and if you'd like to appear on the show, please email me at hey@thealexshow.tv. Thank you again. Please don't forget to visit our website www.thealexshow.tv. By giving me your time, you honor me. Have a very, very, very